added the two. And then if you go on down here, yep, it shows you how to add them individually. Okay, then after that we're going to build the embedded Java code. Now what this code does is it's going to connect to OIM, and here's where I changed it and took out the they were using a hard-coded URL here, so I took that out and added it to this. Okay, so basically what this code is doing is assigning approvers. So OIM knows what the approvers are, so you can do it in a couple ways. Now it's looking at, because in this example what they did was they went into OIM, they went into manage, and they went into roles, and then they created a custom attribute for the role called role approver. And so basically you create a role in OIM, and then you well, you'd have to customize the UI if you want to be able to edit it. I just use the database. So you would use the database to update the attribute and put in the approval role for that role that's you're requesting. And then this code will look for it and set it up so that it can be assigned. So see, both of these values here are getting assigned so that they can be used in here by these approvals. So this approval is going to look for that role approval value, and it's going to assign the approval to that user, and then so will be the same here, and we'll see that in a few minutes. Okay, so once the code is in, now the other thing you can do is the catalog also has the ability to store an approval, and that a role approver, and that's out of the box. So if you wanted to, you could add more code here to get the catalog entry, which is what we did here. So you just get the target entries from each beneficiary, and then that'll tell you what the catalog, and then you can use those keys to get the catalog items, and then the catalog item itself will have an approval. So you can use that in here too in the embedded code. Alright, so we might go through and enhance that. So if you follow the steps they use to add these two attributes and go back and add another one, you can get another approval and have three in that scenario if you like. Okay, here's an example of the code where it is. So if you went into here, you could pull this up, and there's the code. And you got to be very careful. Most of the errors I had building the composite was because you need to have a lot of jars in the lib folder. So when you go over to here and here and here and here, and then there's an SCA lib. So you'll need to have these jars in here, and we'll have to get deployed with the composite, where it'll it won't compile when you try to deploy it, and even if it does, it probably won't run. So yeah, I had to put these three jars in here, and I think that's listed in the doc also somewhere right here. Okay, so content, send message. Right, okay, so depending on what version the composite is and what version JDeveloper is, you might see this message. So I went ahead and clicked it and let it go ahead and do the update, and then I went and followed the remaining instructions to add the other string. So if you wanted to create another place to get the approval, like say from the catalog, you would add it here and follow the same steps you did for those. Okay, so you have to, now one of the things in the Oracle doc is they used the GUI to make this change, but every time I did it, it would break. So I just edited the file and added these two lines to it. You can get these two lines right here and just put it in the file. Another thing I noticed too is that if these values have to be below here, and when they're above it, it doesn't work. Okay, switch back, approval, double click. Okay, so here's where we're assigning those values to be picked up by the approval task. So the ones that we're taking from OIM, we're going to copy them into the composite so that the composite can have access to it. Okay, so this will explain how you do that. Let's see where. Okay, right, it's in the approval task. So we can go, so you have to go, so here there's a plus sign, you'll see it like this. So you open it, and then here's the approval task. And then you can see that. And then here's the values, and here's where we added the two. And you can see how they're assigned, and we had to put them in here. So you can just follow the screenshots and you can get those. So once this is done, then we have the approval tasks have access to it. So you see the series is we run our custom code to get who the approvals are, and we hook up our web service URL for the callbacks and such, and then here we assign the values that we're getting from here to the actual approval tasks, and then we have to run the approval tasks. Okay, so here's what they look like. So now the management chain is built in. So we just basically create a expression that says use the requesters manager login, and it's going to keep doing that. The user record in OIM has a manager key, and this thing is built in automatically to run until that